What if I told you there's a remote village where people don't seem to age? A place so hidden, so untouched by time, that locals in their 90s still hike up mountains, farm the land, and rarely, if ever, see a hospital. No wrinkles, no walkers, no signs of decay, just life, flowing endlessly. In this forgotten corner of the world, the calendar keeps turning. But the people? They don't. Scientists have called it a biological paradox. Others believe it's a miracle. And some think it hides a secret too powerful to be understood. Is it something in the air, the water, or are we looking at the last living clue to a fountain of youth? If you love mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe. This channel reveals everything they never told you. It's 1973. A group of American researchers steps off a jeep in southern Ecuador, dusty from hours on a dirt road that winds through mountains and clouds. Their destination? A tiny, almost mythical village called Vilcabamba, a place that had, until then, remained little more than a whisper among travelers and anthropologists. What brought them there wasn't gold, nor oil, nor ancient ruins. It was something far rarer, a rumor, a story told by locals, whispered in markets, passed down by generations, that in Vilcabamba, people simply don't die. Or if they do, it takes them over a century to get there. The villagers themselves didn't think it was strange. It was just life. Men and women aged 90, 100, even 120 were still tending crops, dancing in festivals, and carrying water up steep hills without help. Stories abounded of a man who'd turned 124 and a woman whose great-grandchildren now had children of their own, while she remained almost unchanged. At first it seemed like exaggeration, folklore. But the researchers began digging into civil records, interviewing families, observing daily life, and what they found was baffling. Unlike any other place on Earth, Vilcabamba had an unusually high number of centenarians, people living past 100, often in perfect health, not just surviving, but thriving. No hospitals, no medications, no modern comforts, just mountain air, clean rivers, and diets rich in fruits, corn, and a special type of mineral-rich water flowing from the Andes. The global average life expectancy at the time was around 60 years. Yet here, that number seemed to double, without any scientific explanation. Was it the altitude, the low-stress lifestyle, genetics, or something even stranger? Soon, the quiet village became a magnet. Journalists, filmmakers, scientists, hippies searching for truth, all trying to decode the valley of longevity. And the more they looked, the deeper the mystery became. As researchers began cataloguing life in Vilcabamba, the theories started piling up like pieces of a supernatural puzzle. First, they looked at the water. Flowing straight from the Andes, it was packed with colloidal minerals, tiny particles believed to support cellular repair and detoxification. Could this be nature's version of an elixir? Locals swore by it. Every household drank it daily, used it to cook, bathe, even irrigate crops. But could water alone explain why people here were outliving the rest of the world? Then came the diet, simple, plant-based, and homegrown. Avocados, bananas, corn, beans, and barely any processed food. Almost no red meat, no sugar rushes, just steady, clean nutrition. In the absence of industrial stressors, some scientists believed the villagers' bodies aged at a drastically slower pace. Add to that the altitude. Vilcabamba sits over 500 meters above sea level, where the oxygen is thinner and free radicals are said to form more slowly. Less oxidative stress, less aging. That's the theory. But not everyone was convinced. As the mystery drew global attention, a second wave of researchers began questioning the narrative. They noticed something odd. Many of the birth records were inconsistent. Dates of birth had been passed down orally for generations, with little formal documentation. Some elders claimed to be 120, but had no birth certificates. Others were listed in census data as different ages in different years. Was it possible that the villagers weren't lying, but genuinely believed they were older than they were. Skeptics suggested that cultural perceptions of age may have inflated numbers over time. A man who looked 90 might have been 75, but in a village where 75 looks like 50 elsewhere, how could you tell? Still, the overall health and longevity were undeniable. Whether they were 120 or 90, these people were in remarkable condition. No obesity, rare cancers, strong mental clarity well into old age. Then a new angle emerged: genetics. Scientists began studying the DNA of Vilcabamba residents, looking for mutations in genes related to aging, inflammation, and cell regeneration. Some evidence pointed to longer telomeres, the protective caps on the ends of chromosomes that tend to shrink as we age. Longer telomeres mean longer cellular life. Was this village a genetic goldmine? But time, as always, changes everything. As news spread and tourism exploded in the 1980s and 90s, Vilcabamba began to shift. Restaurants opened, processed foods crept in. The once sacred routines of farming and walking miles each day gave way to motorbikes and microwaves. And with those changes came another, a decline in longevity. The next generation wasn't living as long. Health issues began to appear. The village, once thought timeless, was showing cracks in its legend. Yet Vilcabamba is not alone. Other so-called longevity zones began popping up in global studies. Sardinia, in Italy, with its strong family ties and shepherding lifestyle. Okinawa, Japan, known for its low meat consumption and social harmony. The mysterious Hunza Valley in Pakistan, where some also claim people live to 130. Each of these places shared something: strong communities, clean environments, natural diets, and a striking sense of purpose and routine. So the question shifted. Maybe it wasn't just where they lived, but how? By the way, if stories like this grab you the way they grab us, hit like and drop a comment. What part of Vilcabamba's mystery is blowing your mind right now? The turning point came quietly. In the late 1990s, a comprehensive study revisited the now famous Vilcabamba. This time, researchers came armed with better tools: DNA testing, modern census techniques, and access to national archives. What they found stunned the world. Many of the celebrated centenarians weren't actually that old. In fact, some were decades younger than originally claimed. A man believed to be 122 was, by national records, no older than 96. A woman thought to be 110 turned out to be 84. The longevity bubble had burst. But it wasn't a fraud. No one had faked anything maliciously. Instead, it revealed a deeply human truth. Our memories, our stories, even our identities are shaped by belief. In Vilcabamba, age wasn't a number. It was a badge of honor, a symbol of respect. The older you were, the more revered you became. In a culture without precise records, birthdays faded. What remained was legacy, memory, and perception. Some scientists called it the placebo of age. Could simply believing you are youthful help your body resist decay? Could collective mindset influence biology? Surprisingly, studies in psychoneuroimmunology suggest yes. Mental state can affect inflammation, immune response, even cellular repair. In one famous experiment, elderly men placed in a 1950s-themed environment where everything from music to furniture mimicked their youth showed measurable improvements in strength, cognition, and posture in just 1 week. Was Vilcabamba a living version of that? A village-wide experiment in self-perception? Even with the exaggerated claims corrected, one fact remains. People in Vilcabamba still live longer and healthier lives than the global average. Their bodies may not defy time, but their way of life certainly slows its grip. Today, the village is split. Part of it leans into modernity, Wi-Fi, tourism, wellness retreats. The other clings to the old ways, defending the traditions they believe hold the real key to longevity. Not water, not DNA, but community, simplicity, and purpose. And maybe they're right. Because in a world obsessed with anti-aging creams, supplements, and surgeries, Vilcabamba offers something different, a life where age is respected, not feared. Where growing older means growing deeper, not just in years, but in meaning. So what truly happened in the village where no one seemed to age? It turns out the legend of Vilcabamba wasn't a lie. It was a lens, a distorted, beautiful, hopeful lens through which people viewed life, time, and the human body. Maybe no one there actually lived to 130, but they lived well, fully, and for much longer than most. And perhaps that's the real secret, because while scientists tried to measure years, the villagers measured moments, connection, rhythm, nature. They didn't chase youth. They lived in a way that made aging irrelevant. So we have to ask, what really makes us old? Is it the number on our ID? Or the way we stop moving, stop connecting, stop believing in the power of today? Maybe the next Vilcabamba won't be found in the mountains of Ecuador, but built little by little in how we choose to live. Not fearing time, but walking with it. If this story caught you like it caught us, make sure to subscribe and let us know in the comments what surprised you the most. See you in the next mystery.